2022. Here it is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. And we are reviewing one that I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time today. One from my childhood. Now, I personally didn't have him complete as a child, but guess who did? My friend John. So there are some fond memories that go along with this figure. Today we're going to be looking at the 1986 Serpentor and his vehicle, the Air Chariot. He was released as a part of the 5th series on the shelves until 1988, but then he was available through Hasbro Direct from 1990, and then again in 92, and then from 92 to 93 with Hasbro Direct. There are a lot of variants that go along with this guy, so I'll be pulling up a bunch of pictures. So let me go ahead and pull up a picture of his box first so we can see what it looked like packaged. Pretty cool artwork on that box. His original retail price was $4.20, and good luck finding him at that price. Good old RC again today. Stepping out from the zero sodas and diet just to get a little more flavorful taste today. So, boy, a lot of variants with him. But he did make his first comic book appearance in issue number 75. He was in the Sunbow series. First came up in the 5-part miniseries Arise, Serpentor Arise. My favorite miniseries out of all of them. It introduced all the Joes from '86. That was a very, very good episode. And of course, he was in the G.I. Joe movie. I'm not going to go over his battle cry, Cobra la 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 la. We all know about it. It sucks. It hurt my ears then. Gives me a migraine now. So, comic book issue number 75. So let me pull up that picture and a picture of what he looked like from the Deke and Sunbow series. With Deke, they had his cape red, and of course the artwork is a little bit different. Oh, yeah, issue number 75. That's a pretty cool issue right there. Shows Serpentor riding in the gun turret of a Hiss. The Baroness wounded on the top of a Hiss. Very cool comic book cover. So let's go ahead and get into these variants. It's amazing how many changes they can make to this guy. Of course, he's made out of gold plastic. His chariot is gold plastic. He's supposed to look very majestic. But there's a problem with that gold plastic. It develops what's known in the collector's community as gold plastic syndrome. According to Yojo.com, the mail away from Hasbro Direct, those don't only have a color variant, but they're more prone to cracking and breaking. I do have one specimen. I'm not taking him out of the protective case that I have him in. It is the one from my childhood. He has a couple of fangs broken off on his helmet. His legs had broken right at the thigh. And that's another common problem with Serpentor. You find the fangs broken off on his helmet. So let's get into the variants on Serpentor himself. One has a yellow neck. His neck is painted yellow. That was the very first release. That is the rarest to find and the most sought after. So you're going to pay a huge price for him on the aftermarket. Another variant on his helmet, the snake head, the chin is split. He has curled chest tails. The yellow paint is lighter on the, it's more of a brighter yellow than it is a mustard yellow on the mail away. So the mail away is a brighter yellow color than the retail, which is kind of a darker yellow. And again, I want to reiterate how brittle the plastic can be. I have one of his cowls that had broken, so I had to buy some before I could review him. So I'll pull that up for you as well to show you. Now, the biggest bugger out of all of this is his snake. One is an opaque gold. If you hold up to the light, you can kind of see through it. There's a translucent brown and green one, which is a mix of the gold and brown, so kind of a brown green. Yeah, and it was just hit and miss on the snake colors. So what I'm thinking is Hasbro was running out of the colors, so they got creative. Who knows? Why do they do these variants? One theory that I do have is they create a variant to stimulate collections. So a kid would have one, and then he'd see his friend one, oh my gosh, what's with this? And they go out and look for that variant. And, you know, the mindset, hey, people are going to be collecting these, so you want to get the collect the variants, marketing ploy, as it were. So let me go ahead and pull up a picture of the snake variants and the variant on Serpentor. Well, that green one is pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having that, but again, it is very difficult to find. The gold one is the most common one on the aftermarket, and that's the one that I remember coming with Serpentor. For my childhood memories, I remember I was with John when he bought this, and got it home. We were really excited as we saw him in the cartoon, and just wanted to really get out there and create some battle scenarios, including Zartan. And his first thought when he was putting this together was the fan on the back of the air chariot. And he said, that's stupid. John was a very, very bright kid. I would not be surprised if he was a genius, actually. He said, the cape could get sucked down in that. And that's something I didn't really look at. I just took the toys for what they were. Like, yeah, now you mention it. And so that was a scenario. And then later on in the cartoon, it did show him fighting with Sergeant Slaughter, and then Sergeant Slaughter grabbing his cape and shoving it down into the air intake fan and pulling him down. Stupid design, I agree, but it was cool nonetheless. His air chariot is a fun toy. We hardly ever played with the cowl because it kept on falling off, but the snake and his dagger, Oh, I think though the dagger is really unnecessary. But we'll go ahead and look at all of that stuff when we start reviewing this action figure. So, yeah, Serpentor, he was in pretty much every one of our scenarios. His air chariot was the coolest thing to me. Come on, it's gold. What, and what more could you ask? And just the color of the gold is, even to this day, very fascinating to me. Uh, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this action figure. I'm so excited to finally review him. So let's pull this up. Come on, I'm trying to get this silly camera to pause. All right, here he is, Serpentor, his air chariot, and his useless accessories. First, I want to show you, this is the cowl that he originally came with. You can see right here, the back peg is broken off. When I bought him, his O-ring was broken, so I was trying to replace the O-ring, and when I was trying to take the cowl off, it broke. And I thought, oh crap, I have this broken back peg inside of Serpentor, and knowing how frail the plastic is, I was afraid to dig it out, so I bit the bullet and I took a pair of hemostats that I use for work, and I dug the pieces out little by little, and fortunately they came out and did not break with a lot of effort, but it did not damage the action figure. So looking at his first accessory, he came with this very majestic looking gold cobra. Pretty cool. The convenience store at the time down the street was selling little rubber animals, bugs and stuff, in the vending machine for 10 cents. And I happened to get a snake out of there that looked kind of like Serpentor's snake, a little bit smaller. But, we used that occasionally with him. But this is a soft plastic, almost rubber. It's in this coil pose, but very, very nice sculpting on there. I don't know if you could see that or not. Great sculpting on the action figure. They spent a lot of time on this. It looks like a real cobra. Very cool, nonetheless. His other accessory is this dagger. It looks like here on the handguard, looks like two talons. Good sculpting on this as well, but again, not really necessary. Here, the pommel is even textured. Cool for somebody else. His last accessory is this cape. This is the original cape that comes along with him. Very frail. You could see it was torn and repaired, so I got him at a pretty decent price because the O-ring was broken and his cape was torn. So it's made out of this sparkly fabric, very sheer. There are a lot of these that are being reproduced on the aftermarket. Touching them, you know that it's a reproduction because the fabric isn't as wispy. It's a little thicker. And every one that I've seen that's a reproduction, people do say it's a reproduction. They're being really cool about it and very honest. And this is a great specimen. His joints are nice and tight. Looks almost brand new. No damage to his paint. This one wasn't a mail-in because his the yellow paint is a darker yellow. So he has this gold body. It's his uniform, as they said in the cartoon, sculpted in these scales. He has the yellow scales here on the front. They look like the belly of a snake. And his helmet is in the design of a cobra head. And these teeth often break off. Some of these you'll find they're broken off in the aftermarket, so you actually get to see what Serpentor looks like. It is glued around a head. He has two snakes resting on his shoulders with the tails curled up. He used these as weapons. In the movie, he straightened one out and speared Duke with it. He has these green shoes, green knee pads, green thigh armor. He has this little device here on his right wrist, done in gold or silver paint, and these really cool snake gauntlets. Very nice. You can see the fangs down there on his left hand. This one does not have the fangs. This is a very cool looking action figure. And again, I'm surprised at the condition that he is in. Normally you find paint wear on him, so on and so forth. So somebody took very good care of him. Oh, his air chariot, made of this gold plastic. What I feel is that you paid for this deluxe action figure with all these very nice sculpting details on him, and you got this air chariot for free. Why do I say that? Because it is very cheaply done. This plastic is kind of thin. It's almost like one of those boats. It's made out of that similar plastic as the toy boats and spaceships you would just find on the shelves. Toy airplanes and things that you just find there in piles on the shelves in the stores. It's that type of thin plastic. I like his Cobra insignia here. It has a crown on it, so you know it's Serpentor. The snake head here on the front, which does turn with the hand grips, but that's a little hard to do. Has these two laser cannons here on the front that spread out. They can rotate 360, but you have to get them past these airfoils. Very cool cannons. Air intake on both sides here. The front looks like a cobra head, of course. The airfoils on the back do move, so you can rotate the gun to the back. This particular example does not want to stay together, so those little foils come out. Here on the back, there's some instrumentation panels and the air intake fan, which works by turning that little knob on the bottom. Neat little play feature. Just a cool little piece of Cobra equipment. And I like the bottom, the way that looks. It looks like a stingray, doesn't it? The front part here, and just the way the body's shaped at the bottom and the wings. Kind of like a stingray. Now here is his file card. It is clipped from the box. This is a foreign file card. It's done in French. Bought this from a gentleman in Canada. So it reads Serpentor, Cobra Emperor. And there's a quote: his eyes have seen the legions of Rome trample the Gauls and the Nervii into dust. His hands lifted the horsehair baton that signaled the first charge of the Carthaginian armored elephant phalanx, talking about Hannibal there. His ears have, or Alexander the Great, he used elephants too. His ears have heard the battle of French crusaders on the streets of Moscow, referring to Napoleon. It is his mind we must fear the most. The thoughts of the Cobra Emperor have not drifted from the global conquest since the reign of King Solomon. And then the bottom is in French, and I will not try to read that. So there you have it. This very, very cool action figure and accessories. Very happy, and I'll use very a lot here. Happy to own him, finally own him complete. And no, I'm not going to chase down the variants of the snakes. It's not that important to me. Yeah, so there are just way too many variants for this action figure to chase down, and giving the market price of him due to his popularity and the frailty of the action figure, and even finding him complete with the original cape. To me, it's not worth chasing down a variant. There are some where I have looked for the variant because there weren't very many of them, and the action figure was relatively inexpensive on the aftermarket. But I am satisfied with this Gold Cobra. This is the one that has the most memories for me. So I'm happy to just have that one. And I want to reiterate with his cape, if you get one, just leave the cape on the body. I'm sure you guys know this already, but I feel that I would be amiss if I didn't just warn you in a way to not take it off, because it will tear. It could tear. And sadly, just over time, our toys degrade. So eventually, all the ones with the brighter colors will be yellow or brown. And you can whiten them all you want, but they'll eventually turn back. So it's just a very sad reality with these toys. And case in point, the other day I was cleaning, dusting off one of my stuns, my Python Patrol stun, and I noticed the tires were sticky. And I thought, boy, is there something got on this? Because it's on the lower shelf in my living room. And then I felt the tires on the standard stun, the black one that came out in '86, and the tires on that were sticky. It's just the rubber that's breaking down. So, like us, the older we get, more we break down. And if the machine breaks down, we break down. Platoon, Tom Berenger. All right, so I hope you guys like this review. I certainly looking forward to it. I just put him in my display case and left him there. I really haven't played with him much, but I just can't get over how nice this particular specimen is. So I got him cheap because his O-ring was broken and the cape was repaired, and the foreign file card. I don't have many of those, so that's pretty cool to have that. So if you're looking for this guy on the aftermarket, there are quite a few of them. I found 3 pages worth on eBay. And for those of you just joining me, I do not use eBay to pick on eBay nor its sellers. It's there for mere convenience. I just don't do that. I don't quote auction prices either, because those are fluid. They're always going up. So these are all the fixed prices. I will take the lowest to the highest price and tell you if I think it's a good deal or if I think that person is just being ridiculous. It's that insane with some of these prices. So, you know, call it a deal of the day or Miser of the Day award. So that brings me into my favorite segment, Byron's Gripes. Yes, so if you are looking for an incomplete Serpentor, he had everything but his dagger, the original cape, which was nice, $45. Just by himself without any accessories, just a bare bones, $6.99 deal of the day on that. Look at it, see if it's the variant that you need, to $20 or $28.99. Yeah, that is pretty lousy. That's Mr. Scrooge sitting there thinking it's made of real gold. Complete Air Chariot, $20.99, deal of the day, to $24.99, again, deal of the day. Those things, it falls apart real easy. The flashing on the front is generally loose. The head comes off fairly easy. So those parts are often missing. So the Air Chariot, I'm surprised, is relatively inexpensive, but a lot of people are taking them apart and selling the pieces. That hurts in a way, seeing that, because you're taking an antique, taking it apart and selling the parts. But if it weren't for people doing that, the people like me who have incomplete vehicles cannot buy the part. So it's bittersweet. I just like to keep things exactly as they are and not take those parts off, because it's been together all these years. That's the way I look at it. So a complete Serpentor, I'm talking all of his accessories, cape, cowl, all that good stuff, $43.20 for a complete one, which I'm going to put that with a deal of the day because the incomplete one was $45. So $43.20 is deal of the day, up to $55.25. Now I would call that misery for that one, but giving the frailty of his cape and how hard it is to find that and with the figure in decent shape, I'm going to say that's okay. That's a high end, but I would still pay that if I really, really wanted the action figure. I waited until I found a good deal. Why? Because I'm a tightwad when it comes to myself. Other people I'm generous with, but myself, I'm not going to spend that kind of money. Oh, his dagger. Oh my gosh, really? This guy needs a reality check. $18.95 for the dagger, and that's the only one I saw. $18.95. Just because it says G.I. Joe, it does not make it valuable. Okay? There are a lot of Serpentors out there. This guy's just being greedy, and this is part of the reason why I do Byron's Gripes, is to give people who are getting back into collecting a general idea what to look at. And these high prices are making it harder for your 9-to-5er, you know, the family and mortgage and a dog and 2 cars, to purchase these toys for himself or herself and share it with their kids. And even kids that are trying to collect, it makes it harder for them to do that as well, because these prices are so blasted high. And I would never pay $18.95 for that stupid little dagger. No, because there's always stuff coming up and it's cheaper. Okay, so an incomplete yellow neck variant. 139.99. I would say that is insane, but it is. It is insane. I don't care how rare that variant is. That is asking way too much. One of my viewers actually told me a while back that it was Vinny C, channel supporter, he found a yellow neck Serpentor at a yard sale and paid pennies, mere pennies for it compared to what the prices are. So that was a heck of a find. So check your yard sales, check your swap meets, your flea markets. You just never know. Thrift stores. I've had a lot of luck with thrift stores. You just never know. His cowl, anywhere from 99 cents up to $9.99. That is the most common accessory to find out there. Yeah, there are some being reproduced, but even the original is very cheap, and $9.99 it's Miser of the Day award again for that. Complete with the box, $279.99. It even comes with the blueprints. That's a bit high, but given the popularity of the figure. Oh, and that one also comes, the boxed one comes with a few of the snake variants, so that naturally brings the price up. The mail-in file card, it has a red back on it. $31.99 to $59.99, and that's about average for your red back file cards. Complete Serpentor with his file card, $64.99. I'd say that's about par for the course. Still pretty expensive, but given the action figure. His file card by itself, $8. Is the brown snake, $10. I don't know, as far as his snake variants go. Is that a great price? I don't know. I wouldn't pay it. $10 for that little piece of rubber, and I bought one. Looked very similar to this one out of a gumball machine for a dime when I was 12. So, yeah, it worked well. It was hot pink, but hey, it worked well. We used it as a chameleon, and it would always hang around Zorana, reflect off of her hot pink shirt. So yeah, $9.99 for the snake. Complete air chariot. Oh, a complete Serpentor, can't read my own writing, with his air chariot and a bronze snake, $9.99 to $135. So again, the bronze snake has brought it up. The original, his original cape, very nice condition. That goes from $19.99 up to $27. Yeah, pretty expensive, but given how frail that fabric is, that would be about par for the course. And you can't find that fabric out in the stores. I know, I looked for it. I found stuff very similar to it, but it's really thick. It's not that very thin, wispy. So I think that was, well, obviously it was only exclusive to Hasbro. So the rest of what I found on him are just pieces, taking the action figure apart, the air chariot apart, and selling those pieces. So that's Byron's gripes for you. I do hope you guys enjoyed this review. I certainly enjoyed reviewing this, and I'm going to have to play with him now after seeing how good of condition he was in. When I got him, my mother was still in the hospital, so I didn't have much time to look at him. I just left him in the bag, actually, and hung it up on the wall. And then when I got my display case, I just put him in there. So yeah, this is the first time I really got a chance to really sit down and look at them. So I think I'll play with it after this review. So if you did like the review, please give it a thumbs up. Please like, share, and subscribe. Up a little over 400. I'm at 402 now. And that, wow, that is so cool that I'm up to, I finally reached a goal of 400. That lets me know that my content is good enough for you guys, and that's humbling for me, and I can't thank you guys enough. I do hold giveaways when I reach milestones. 500 is my next milestone, so I'll be holding a giveaway for that. Everybody who subscribes is eligible for those giveaways. Have your names in a box, and I draw it from there. My channel supporters have their own separate giveaway, and their chances of winning are a lot greater because, well, there's fewer of them. But the prizes aren't anything cheap. I promise you that. It is stuff that I would keep for myself. So it's always going to be a good prize. Look at my last video. I had given away a mud fight, a complete mud fighter. And I can't remember what the other one was, my last giveaway video. So I buy things, when I get them cheap, I'll buy them in duplicates so I could have one for a giveaway. So yes, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Please leave me a comment. I respond pretty quick. Sometimes the comments don't pop up right away, so it might be a few days before I get to them. And especially right now with this whole COVID thing, I'm just crazy busy at work, so might take me a little bit longer to get to your comments, but I do answer. I love hearing from you guys. So thank you once again for tuning in. Remember, everybody stay safe out there. Remember the triple S: safety, sanitize, and 6 feet. Wear your masks out in public. Keep that social distancing. A lot of restaurants are opening up their dining rooms. Yeah, it's good and bad. You know, we need to start getting back to normal. That's the good part about it. But a lot of the restaurants are checking temperatures as you're walking in. So if you do have a fever, they'll turn you away. So please don't get upset with them. They're doing their job. They're keeping you safe. They're keeping everybody else safe and themselves. So it is a nasty virus. Healthy people, I was talking with a doctor on Sunday. In healthy people, the 2% fatality, or the fatality rate in healthy individuals is 2%. So that's relatively low. It's the ones that are compromised, the elderly, or people with underlying conditions like asthma, any organ transplant recipients. Your immune systems are compromised because the immunosuppressant drugs you're taking to keep your body from rejecting that organ, because your body says, hey, this isn't my heart, or this isn't my kidney or my lung, and it attacks it. So you need those drugs to suppress that. So your immune systems are a little bit weaker. So I really have to be careful. I'm asthmatic and I have heart problems. So that puts me in a higher risk level. So yes, I do wear my mask even out in public. He also had the theory is like, you know what? I'm not even going to mention that. It makes people mad. I saw the wisdom in it, he said, but it ticks people off when he says it. So I'm not even going to bring that up. Sorry, you're my friend. I'm not going to bring that up. So, yeah, then he watches the channel too. So, yeah, sorry, Doc. I won't bring that up. But do wash your hands, guys. 30 seconds, soap and water. Rub vigorously, get under your fingernails, the backs of your hands up to your wrists. If you can, rinse your fingers, fingers down, and don't touch the faucet or the paper towel dispenser. Dry your hands, use the paper towel to turn the water off. When you're leaving the bathroom, if it has a knob, either use your paper towel, or if the trash can's too far away, just use your shirt tail and hook it up. Or if the door's open, you know what I do is I just push it open with my back, my hands elevated. Just old habit of having to go back and forth to another story, different day. So yeah, just be smart, guys. Just stay safe out there. And as always, be kind to one another, and especially be kind to animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. See you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. What will be coming up, I have no idea. Sometimes I don't know until the day that I shoot the film. I don't have a schedule. So stay safe out there. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.